Hey, Shalom, this is your brother Yonathan. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Rakahakwadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. I want to say Shalom to all the brothers and, of course, the few sisters who are pursuing this truth and sincerity, all right? May the blessing of election be upon your house. There's a book called The Delectable Negro, and it goes into the human consumption, all right, of Israelites from the Edomites, the so-called white man. There was a series a couple of years back that I would do called The Atrocities of Edom. This is another rendition of that, okay? These people hate you enough to eat you, and it's documented. So I want to read to you a summary of the book, Delectable Negro, and we'll start here in the second paragraph. It says, Water delves into the waves in which enslaved African men were treated as commodities, and we know that they were in fact Israelite men who were dwelling off the coast of Western Africa. All right, but you also had during that time the Arab slave trade that was going on, and a lot of our people got dispersed in that realm as well. Israel has been scattered into every nation under heaven. All right, but the truth comes out of where? Predominantly Babylon the Great, you know, the last great nation in which we would go into captivity. Okay, so the Americas, all right? This is Water delves into the ways in which enslaved Israelite men were treated as commodities and objects of desire by both white slave owners and other members of society. He argues that the dehumanization and exploitation of these men were not only economic and labor-related, but also deeply intertwined with homoerotic desires and practices. And of course it was. Even unto this day, you have cook culture amongst the Edomite race. An example, a recent example of that being prevalent is the podcast interviewer Adam22, who paid that Jake, that Israelite man, to plow his wife, and they made a lot of money off of it. Now, yeah, Wicked Jake that was probably watching that, but you had a lot of Edomite men that paid to watch that. He said he made millions of dollars off of it. So they get off on that, man. These are freaky people, man. All right, let's continue on in this article here. All right, it says, through an analysis of historical records and literature and cultural artifacts, Woodard uncovers a hidden history of sexual violence, fetishization, and consumption of black bodies within the context of slavery. Yeah, it's documented, man, that, you know, a third of our people would die on the voyage over here on those boats, and that the shipmasters would make meals out of the the bodies from the dead cargo, which we were the cargo. That's how sadistic and profane, meaning outside of the temple, that this man is. And he hasn't changed. The same way it was told to John the Revelator that he must prophesy again to many nations, kings, tongues, and people, meaning that he would be back in the earth in the end times, and through the Spirit, we believe that to be Abba Bivens. But the same way his spirit was prophesied to be back, a lot of these Edomites that were doing these things, those same spirits are back here today. And to double down on that, it was told that those that pierced him shall see him. So when Yahushua even returns, the Roman soldiers that pierced him, those spirits, again, they too will be back in the earth witnessing the Lord's return. So understanding that, you know that all the Edomites that were committing these heinous homoerotic acts, they're back today. But you got 2/3 of our people, man, who will look at the so-called white man and be like, oh, it's not the same. That wasn't them, you know. It's different now. And not realizing that when the opportunity comes, which is on the horizon, Jacob's trouble is on the horizon, this devil's going to revert back to his old ways. Okay? He challenges the notion that slavery was solely about labor, and demonstrates how sexual exploitation and violence and pervasive aspects of the institution. Okay. The Delectable Negro sheds light on the ways in which racial stereotypes, power dynamics, and sexual violence have shaped American society and continues to influence contemporary discussions on race, sexuality, and power. And, you know, they don't go into the details in Esau's school system about the things that they were actually doing during our captivity, because they still want to, you know, have this narrative that they're humane when they are anything but. They try to put that term Indian on our Northern Kingdom brothers and sisters, which Indian means savage, when they're the savages. And they want to get rid of that history altogether. They want to take it out of the school system, but, you know, it just won't fly. But the scriptures in Deuteronomy 32 and 32, man, it talks about our enemy's vine being of the vine of Sodom, right? It says, for their vine is of the vine of Sodom and of the fields of Gomorrah, all right? Going into, look, man, it's their natural way to be completely contrary to the Lord, which committing those acts is contrary to the Lord. It's in their nature to be that way. Okay, even going back to the Greeks, when they would have the little boy handmaids that they would deal with, the Romans, they had something called conquest rape. You know, they strike a man through on the battlefield in more ways than one. On the battlefield, the men. So yeah, this is they're of this vine. That's that's how it gets down, man. And he's back here today. But I want to go into, you know, another one of these atrocities of Edom and just how they move to show you that this devil, he has a perpetual hatred towards you, and it's under the surface now. But when they get the opportunity to just be open about it, we're just gonna have to sit here and be like, man, look, I told you so. That's when Proverbs 1 takes place, when the Lord said, I shall laugh at your calamity, because you said at not all my counsel. We've been telling you about this man. So he's going to get on the news. He's going to tell you to shoot up more stuff. Like he told you to take the hokey pokey in 2020. Jake's going to listen. Jake's going to, you know, just believe everything this man says and look at him like the standard of morality. And it's going to backfire on him again. All right. But let's go read Ezekiel 35 really quick. So this is Ezekiel 35, and I'll start at 3. It says, behold, O Mount Seir, which is synonymous with Edom, I am against thee, and I will stretch out mine hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. So if the Lord's against these people, are you to be with them? In Psalms, David says, I count them mine enemies, those that hate thee. Actually, let me go get that. I'm paraphrasing it, but let's actually go read it. All right, this is Psalms 139 in verse 20. It says, for they speak against thee wickedly, and thine enemies take thy name in vain. All right? So, you know, who's the people on the earth saying, oh, we don't need God, we can make our own water. Or, if you don't merge with machine, you will become extinct. Or, we exceeded the God of the Bible. You know, who's making these kind of statements in the earth? What nation of people? All right? Chiefly the tribe of Amalek, who called themselves the so-called, you know, J.W. This is verse 21. It says, do not I hate them, O Lord, that hate thee, and they do hate the Most High. And this is David saying this, and we know that David was a man after the Most High's own heart. He had his faults, as we do we all, but he was a man that was after the Most High's heart. And in the kingdom of heaven, right up underneath Yahweh Shah, the Lord's going to set David up again. So he's a man, you know, is an example to all the men of Israel. Do not I hate them, O Lord, that hate thee, and am not I grieved with those that rise up against thee. Okay? I hate them with the perfect hatred. I count them my enemies. And in fact, they are our enemies, man. So we are to, you know, be weary of them. Be suspicious of him when he's acting like he's helping you, because it's never to help you. Right now, let's go back to Ezekiel 35. All right, Ezekiel 35 and 4. I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, a non-stop hatred. It hasn't stopped. It's not, oh, that was back in the day. No, it's now. And has shed the blood of the children of Israel by force of the sword. Whose blessing was the sword? Well, we know that blessing was given to Esau, and he will rule by it. So who is this talking about here? And you know who it's talking about, because in verse 3 it says Mount Seir. All right? In the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. And Esau, Edom, is prophesied to be ruling when the Lord returns. So he's not done away with. He's still here today. So again, the book Delectable Negro is like 27 bucks on Amazon if you want to read it. But this man hasn't changed. And I think I'm going to do more of these on this series, the Atrocities of Edom, just as a reminder to people of who we're dealing with. And not to get comfortable or complacent with this man. To be suspicious. Watch what he's doing. We're watchmen. All right? But, you know, through all of it, all the, you know, the wiles of the devil, those who have faith, the Lord's going to make a way. So, Atrocities, the lesson was edifying. I want to give all praises once more to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakah HaKodash. I want to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. I want to say shalom to all the brothers and, of course, the few sisters who are pursuing this truth in sincerity. All right? May the blessing of election be upon your house. Shalom.